Hi everyone, welcome to English Markandeya. We are coming from the fourth group, and in this beautiful moment, we would like to present to you about verbal sentences and noun clauses. Have you heard about both of these terms before? I truly believe that several of us have heard about these terms, whether it's at school or during our courses in several places. But sadly, not all of us know exactly about what's the meaning of these terms. So in this moment, we would like to explain to you even more about what is the definitions of verbal sentences and also noun clauses, as well as the pattern that is used and a real example of both of these terms. So without any further notes, let's jump into the main materials.
The presentation from Group 4 will be delivered by 5 students. The first, Gede Santika Yasa. Second, Ketut Surini. Third, Tagel Rahini. Fourth, Nyoman Rentiani. And the last, Luh Putu Wilantari.
Well, for the first materials, we would like to discuss more about noun clauses. Have you heard about these terms? What is noun and what is clauses? So without any further notes, let's hear together about noun clauses.
Okay, the next I will describe about noun. The word noun comes from the Latin nomen, means name. According to Oxford Dictionary, Purcell 199 to 945, noun is a word used to identify any of a class of people, place or things, or to name a particular one of these. Noun is a word that can be used to identify someone or something.
Next material about the definition clause according to Betty. 1993, the 346 clause is a group of related words which contains a subject and a verb. Clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb, which can take the place of the different of the speech.
Well, we've heard the definitions of noun and also clauses. So what is noun clauses? Well, simply, noun clauses is a dependent clauses that cannot stand alone because of there's will be no meaning that we can get or a point that we can catch just by a noun clauses in a sentences. So there should be a further explanations before or after the noun clauses itself. So in the noun clauses, the subject and also the predicate are usually retained and fills the position and also function as a noun itself. Well, in the noun clauses also can act as an object, complement, and also subject in a sentences. Well, there will be so many questions regarding noun clauses itself, especially about how could we spot noun clauses in the sentences. Well, basically it's very hard to spot whether a retained subject and predicate is a type of noun clauses or not. But don't worry about it. We already prepared several words that can be a guideline for you to spot whether a retained subject and predicate that you find in a sentences is the type or the part of the noun clauses or not.
What a noun clause. There are several words that we can use a clue to spot noun clauses, such as how, that, what, whatever, when, where, whether, which, whichever, who, whoever, whomever, why.
Now, we've known several words that we can use as a guideline and also clue about how to spot the noun clauses. As what I said before, that noun clauses can act as a subject, object, as well as a complement. So let's hear a further explanations about it.
Next, material about noun clause. As a subject is a noun clause that acts as a subject in a sentence. Despite its role as a subject, a noun clause is a still dependent clause. For example, whoever lives late so turn off the lights. How the boy behaved was not very polite.
Well, for next, we would like to discuss about noun clauses as an object. So when we talk about noun clauses as an object, it will divide it again into three, which is noun clauses that act as a direct object, indirect object, and also object of complement. Well, firstly, we would like to discuss about noun clauses as a direct object. which usually the noun clauses as a direct object will receive an actions of the verb that are available in the sentences. Well, let's analyze the provided example together. For the first example, my dog will eat whatever food I give him. So it's clearly easy to spot the noun clauses because the noun clauses itself is coming up after the words whatever food I give him, the highlighted words. So, as what I stated before, the noun clauses as a direct object will receive an actions from the verb that are available in the sentences. Well, so in this case, the food that I would like to give to the dog will receive a direct action from the verb eat that will be eaten by the dog. Well, for the second example, it's quite the same with the first example. He didn't know why the stove wasn't working. So in here, the noun clauses is the sentences that coming up after why. So why the stove wasn't working is the noun clauses in the sentences. So in this case, the stove wasn't working will receive a direct actions from the verb know in the sentences. Secondly, is the noun clauses that act as indirect object or will not receive something directly. Well, we can just analyze the provided example. Ria chose to photograph whomever was willing to pose for her. So the noun clauses here is coming up after the word whomever, which is whomever was willing to pose for her. It is the parts or play as the noun clauses as an indirect object because we don't know yet about who will be photographed by Ria. So it's mean indirectly. Well, the third one is the noun clauses that play as an object of preposition. The easiest way to spot whether a noun clauses is the part of object of preposition is by analyzing whether there is a preposition before the guideline words that we already give to you to spot the noun clauses. For example, like if before when or of before whomever, because even of here act as a preposition, right? And whomever and when act as the guideline words to spot the noun clauses. Well, let's reanalyze the provided example together. I like to keep a schedule of when I have upcoming appointments. So in here, when I have upcoming appointments is the noun clauses that play as an object of preposition. Why? Because of before when as a guideline clue, there is a preposition of, which simply stated that this is the parts of noun clauses as an object of preposition.
And next, noun clause as complement. In this case, noun clauses teach or give more information about a noun is, are, am, will be, was, and were. Example, the winner will be whoever gets the most votes. The noun clause above is a complement because it provides more information about a winner.
Well, we've heard the materials about noun clauses. Now let's jump into verbal sentences. Have you heard about these terms before? Verbal and also sentences. So without any further notes, let's hear the further explanations about verbal sentences.
Today I will explain about the verbal sentence. Have you heard about the verbal sentence? And now I will explain about the verbal sentence. Before that, you must know a definition verbal and sentence. About the verbal come from the words verbs, which simply mean a word that used to express and describe an action. About the sentence is a set of words that is complete in its life, typically containing a subject, predicate, and object. So that verbal sentence is a sentence that uses verb to express and describe action and do not need to be. That is, are, was, except in continued tenses. In the general formula about the verbal sentence, there have the three parts of verbal sentence in the simple present tense, namely positive verbal sentence, negative verbal sentence, and interrogative verbal sentence. And next, the material of general formula positive verbal sentence in simple present tense. That is subject Iyudebi plus verb plus object. Subject she, he, it plus verb es, and es and plus object. In the sample, the first person subject I, verb eat, and object rice. In the sentence, I eat rice. About the second person, subject you, they, we. The verb eat and object rice. About the sentence, you eat rice, they eat rice, and we eat rice. About the third person, subject she, he, it. The verb eats and object rice. About the sentence, she eats rice, he eats rice, and he eats rice. In the next material, spelling changes first person and second person. Merge verb just it is. That is simple. Dance become dances. About the cook becomes cooks. About the verb end with the vocal it and y, just it is. That the simple pie become pies, tie become ties. About the verb end with s, sus, chus, xos, it as. Namely, words become words, the fig become figs. About the verb end with consonant and y, drop the y and just it as. Namely, study becomes studies. About the fly become flies. Exception. In the exception, have become has, in the do become does, and the go become goes. And next, the material about the general formula in negative simple present tense. Subject I, you, they, we, plus do not, plus verb, and plus object. About the subject she, he, it, plus does not, plus verb, and plus object. In the sample, in the first person, subject I, auxiliary do not, in the verb eat, and the object rice. In the sentence, I do not eat rice. About the second person, subject you, they, we, auxiliary do not, in the verb eat, and the object rice. About the sentence, you do not eat rice, they do not eat rice, and we do not eat rice. About the third person, she, he, it, in the subject auxiliary does not, in the verb eat, and the object rice. About the sentence, she does not eat rice, he does not eat rice, it does not eat rice. In the next material about the general formula in the question about the simple present tense. Do subject I, you, they, we, plus verb plus object and question. About the does subject plus subject, she, he, it, plus verb plus object and question. In the first second, auxiliary do, subject I, verb it, and object rice and question. In the sentence, do I eat rice? About the second person, auxiliary do, subject you, they, we, in the verb eat, and object rice and the question. About the sentence, do you eat rice? Do they eat rice? And do we eat rice? About the third person, the auxiliary does, the subject she, he, it, in the verb eat, and object rice in the question. About the sample of the sample sentence, does she eat rice? Does he eat rice? And does it eat rice?
In every tenses, we will using different verbal sentence patterns. And in this presentation, there include 9 patterns of tenses they are often used. And start from simple, continuous, and perfect. And now, we will learn one by one start from simple tense. In a simple tense, include past, present, and future. Start from simple past tense. Simple past tense is a tense that used to express action or activity that happened in the past. General formula, subject plus verb to plus object. For example, I went to Denpasar last week. I is a subject, went is a verb too, and Denpasar is an object. Last week is a complement. And next, present simple tense. Present simple tense is a tense that used to express an action or activity that happen in the present or noun. General formula: subject plus verb 1 plus object. For example, I go to Denpasar. Or when we use to third person, she goes to Denpasar. I is a subject, go or goes is a verb 1, and Denpasar is the object. And next, future simple tense. Future simple tense is a tense that used to express action or activity that happen in the future. General formula: subject plus will go plus object. For example, I will go to Denpasar tomorrow. I is a subject, will go, Denpasar is an object, and tomorrow is a complement. And now we move into continuous tense. Same like simple tense. Continuous tense include past, present, and future tense. Start from past continuous tense. Past continuous tense is a tense that used to express action or activity that during period in the past. General formula: subject plus was for first and third person, and were for second person, plus verb ing plus object. For example, I was studying English 2 hours ago. I is a subject, was, studying is a verb ing, and English is an object, 2 hours ago is a complement. Next, present continuous tense. Present continuous tense is a tense that used to explain action or activity or talks about temporary action or things that happen in the present or right now. General formula: subject plus to be plus verb ing plus object. For example, I am studying English right now. I is a subject, am is a to be, studying is a verb ing, and English is object, right now is a complement, or in bahasa is keterangan. And the last, future continuous tense. Future continuous tense is a tense that used to express action or activity that happen in the future. That will be happening in the future. General formula: subject plus will be going plus verb 1 plus object. For example, I will be going study English this afternoon. I is a subject, will be, study verb 1, and English is an object, this afternoon is a complement. And now we move into perfect tense, like continuous and simple. That perfect tense include past, present, and future. Start from past perfect. Past perfect tense is a tense that used to express action or activity that are complete before some point in the past. General formula: subject plus had plus verb 3 plus object. For example, I had slept before my mother came. I is a subject, had slept is a verb 3, and before my mother came is object, my mother. And next, present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is a tense that used to express activity or action, or to talk the action which start in the past and continues up to now. General formula: subject plus have for first people and first person and third person, and has for have for first and second person, and has for third person, plus verb 3 plus object. For example, I have bought a new car. I is a subject, have, bought is a verb 3, and new car is an object. And next, the last tenses is a future perfect tense. Future perfect tense is a tense that used to express or to explain the action that happening in the future. General formula: subject plus will have plus verb 3 plus object. For example, I will have graduated from senior high school next year. I is a subject, will have graduated is a verb 3, and senior high school is an object, and next year is a complement. So that's all about 9 patterns of tenses that include in the presentation.
Well, that's all about our presentations regarding noun clauses and also verbal sentences. Thank you.